Yes, mate. It's 1-1 against Bournemouth. It's another draw. A lot of frustrated faces here around St James's Park. Are you in that bracket?
It's a sticky one. Like, it's a bit mixed emotions because obviously you're disappointed to not get the win. That's 1 win in 7 now. The first one against Nottingham Forest, and then have won since then. You can spin the narrative whichever way you want to spin it. Like, it's 1 win in 7, but it's only 1 loss in 7 as well. In terms of how I feel today, definitely disappointed. How can you not be? But it's tricky to. Like, who we're pointing the finger out if we are frustrated, you know what I mean? I don't think anybody can fault Eddie Howe for his selection or even any of the players for any of their effort. Maybe you can see the first half was really slow. I think that was a little bit poor. It was all a little bit sideways, wasn't it? I think Joe Linton was the only one that showed a bit of bravery. He was the one that tried to beat his man, but then he was pretty much non-existent in the second half. I was disappointed with that, with the left wing in the second half. Everything was coming through Trippier and Almiron. Trippier's crossing was brilliant. I think he was probably the man of the match today. He won the penalty as well, if you want to say anyone did win the penalty. But yeah, that left wing was really disappointing, mate. I know Target doesn't contribute too much going forwards anyway, but without having Saint-Maximin there, Ryan Fraser, he was like a shadow today, man. It was really disappointing that. I seen Elliot Anderson, he wasn't on the bench, so I'm guessing that's an injury, because I think myself and several other fans that I've seen as well, they were rooting for him to get a start. And then that would be different, because then you would have an extra bit of dynamism within the team. You've got Miggy, who's he's sort of a threat anyway on that one wing. Trippier certainly a threat, and then you would
get battered everywhere they go.
All right. You're saying it, mate. You're saying it because I said the same thing to Keith there after the game. Keith Times, guys. I was saying that everything had to go through Trippier. Why is not? We know Target is still a good crosser of the ball. We know we've got players on the left hand side trying to do things. Even Isaac moved on the left hand side with 10 minutes to go and Wood came on, but nobody's passing the ball to that side. Everything goes through Trippier. Is that because he's the captain? Is that because he's the only player that's decent?
It's a bit amateurish, if we're honest. Like, it's like when you play 7-a-side with the lads and you know you've got one min player on the team and you just spam the ball to him. And we've seen that under Bruce as well. That used to happen quite a bit with Maxi, which is fair enough though, because Maxi was the one shining light within the team. But Trippier's a right back, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we kind of have the expectation of him to create all the goals for it. The two lads in midfield that don't play CDM, Joe Linton and Joe Willock, I think they're both excellent players, and I'm not criticising them, but I do think they need to start chipping in with a few more goals. Like, Joe Willock had that excellent spell at the back end of the season before last, wasn't it? It was at the end of his loan tenure, but then we've not really seen that since. And like you see as well, Matty, with assists as well, it's not just about the goals. I think we're just a bit too reliant on the striker. We've seen today we're absolutely dominated, man, but we didn't score a goal. Well, the one goal that we did score came through a penalty. Likewise against Nottingham Forest on the first day, the first goal came at the 60th, 70th minute, and that was through a screamer through Fabian Shaw. You know, you're relying on a centre back to score worldly for you. Yeah. So that's something that's disappointing. But I don't know what the solution is. Is it just a case of waiting to January and bringing a winger in? But then what about the 10 or 12 games before January, mate? Do you know what I mean? Having said that, we do got to remember that we've still got Maxi to come back. Apparently John Joe's running on grass again, so he mustn't be far away. So that's a real positive, because I'm sure the expectation was he'll be out until the World Cup. Yeah. But if he comes back in the team, I think the knock-on effect is Bruno takes up Willock's position, and then Bruno's got a little bit more quality. You know, he'll get some assists, unlike that, you know, Willock hasn't been able to do so far.
It looks like we're kind of having to put like square holes and round pegs, at the minute. We're like, Bruno's not allowed to get forward enough, Willock's not allowed to do this, and we're struggling going forward. I really expected a bit more. Fraser, he had a chance to put one wide. Almiron, again, his work rate's there, but the assists aren't there, and we just don't look like creating enough in that final third. It's so frustrating to watch. It's horrible, isn't it? I think the few times I've came on a fan camp here, mate, I've said, like, just not clinical enough in that front three. It's not dangerous enough. We've come to a knife fight with a spoon, mate. That's what it feels like. Do you know what I mean? The attack is just, it's blunt us out. I thought Isak was all right today. One thing I will say, mate, the movement between him and Wilson, there's levels above. Like, Wilson's movement off the ball is so much better. Yeah. And I'm not criticising Isak. You got to remember, he's 22, mate. I'm thinking about what I was doing at 22. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. Like, he's still a young pup. He's only been with the lads a few weeks, so no criticism at all. When he is on the ball, he does look good. And maybe that at the end there, when we brought Wood on and pushed him out to the left wing, perhaps that's a bit of an indication as to what we might do when Wilson's back. Yeah, I think so.
Because that will be, I mean, it's a good dilemma to have, but who would you start, mate, out of Wilson and Isak, based off what you've seen so far? I know it's a very small sample size, like, for Isak.
I would try and put all three up front: Isak, Maxi and Wilson. It's got to be done.
Perhaps drop Miggy, and then Miggy can be the impact sub with 20 minutes to go.
Because Miggy and Fraser off the bench isn't bad for me, but if you start them week in, week out, it's worrying.
Fraser was really poor today. There's no sugarcoating it. He had that one shot where the keeper makes a good save at the back end of the second half. The Bournemouth fans were booing him, which I thought was interesting. I thought he left there as a bit of a hero. I don't know.
Shouting Fraser, what's the score on? They went 1-0 up, which is no indication Eddie Howe, but just a Fraser was a bit weird.
All right, okay, mate. But they defended well. To be fair, we were good. It's tough to find anybody to blame. I said last time I came on, just judge us off performances as opposed to results at this stage of the season. But at the same time, mate, if you cannot beat the likes of Bournemouth at home, it's going to be a long old season. But I'm looking forward to. I think this international breaks came at a good time, Matty, because hopefully after this, Wilson will be back, Maxi will be back, John Joe Shelby will be back. And that's 3 or 4 players there. Elliot Anderson should be back. I'm assuming he's injured today, and then that gives you a different dynamic to the team. It'll be interesting to see how we can get on once we have got best 11 out there.
Yeah. All right, big up, bro. Cheers, mate.
Nice one, mate.
Cheers, mate.